I met a gypsy.
Fuck, that's crazy, bro. What's your experience with Chase been like? Because last year, you would actually be able to speak on his development at KTM. Because last year, not stoked.
Struggle. Yeah.
But, dude, I don't know if he expected to be for the shit just to come easy. Because, dude, I rode Austrian bikes forever. And then last year I started riding Yamahas a bunch. That is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge change. And I don't know, maybe he underestimated how big of a difference it would be. And especially, dude, a 23 Honda to a 24 KTM.
Yeah,
Obviously, you guys are not
different.
You're not riding a stock KTM, but
Yeah.
it's still a KTM. Dude, night and day different bike.
Completely different bike. And I think, yeah, he might have underestimated it a little bit. But I think,
And then panicked.
I think it was the panic that really.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was just the panic from him. I think it was the panic from everyone of like, we're not in a good spot. But I also think they may have almost done a little bit too much.
Tried too hard.
They might have tried a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And I think he got confused. He got really confused. Like, even with me, if I try too much, I get lost and then I don't know what feeling I like. And that was this off season. I found something that I was like, oh yeah, I'm happy with this. And I rode with it for weeks and weeks and weeks to get that feeling of like, I know what I like.
Yeah.
Where I think they had tried so much that he was just so confused.
Yeah.
And but I think that helped him. Obviously, it hurt him last year, and he was in I think he was in a dark place because he didn't know what to do. But when you look at the way he's been this year, I think it helped him a lot.
I'd agree,
because
man.
I think he learned a lot from the mistakes they had made last year.
Yeah.
And he's really good at learning, and he's like, he can pick up on things very quick. And I think, especially when it went outdoors, was when he was like, all right, like, we can make this work and we can figure it out. And then he won that championship, and then he went into this offseason. I think he went into this offseason with a little bit more of an open mind of like, well, we're going to make this work. We're going to figure it out.
I think too, I heard somewhere that they pretty much just nailed the first engine package they gave him this year. And then they were able to just like focus on less things.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even me, I nailed first engine package. They put the thing on the bike. We had multiple things like we could have tried. They put everything together. I did 2 laps and I said, bike's good. Don't touch it. We don't need to mess with anything.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, we're good. Like, and I rode all of boot camp, and I never touched a clicker. I never touched a single thing on the bike, not one. I rode weeks. The only time I ever changed something was when I went up to Beta to ride with Benny. Because of Dirtworks had built the track, so it was a little bit different shape than what we had been riding. So I had to adjust a little bit, but like I could make 2 changes and everything was solved. Like, my bike is to a point where I could just clicker change everything and it'll be good. We made a really bad call switching shocks at Anaheim too. I think we could have figured out what I wanted to figure out with clickers. But I think that's the biggest thing we all learned this year is once we found a setup that we were comfortable with, none of us really went away from it.
Yeah, just get it in a window.
Yeah, get it in a window where if it does need something from a different track, you can just, one little thing, you know what to do, switch it. But it wasn't like everyone was in such a good spot, and I think because he was able to do his motos this year and really train how he wanted to train coming in, he came in with a lot more confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like that too.
Yeah.
You know, what do you learn from him being around him so much?
I learned just the way he looks at everything. He has a very different mindset than I feel like most guys. Like, everyone has their differences, but he has a very, like, you can see how determined he is and you can see how bad he wants it. Like, if he is struggling with something, people can say, oh, he has a bad attitude about it, or he does this or he does that. But I think that shows how much he wants it and how badly he wants to be the best. And even it's the same with me. If there's days where when we were testing during the off season and I was having a rough day, I was just like, I may have became an asshole. Like, But I think that shows how badly we really wanted to be the best, and we want to be as comfortable as we can. And like, yeah, like there's days where Davey comes to me, he's like, "You're being an asshole right now, and you're not, like, you're doing this, you're doing that," and I'm just like, I don't want to leave here today with a thought of like, we could have done this. Like, that's just not how we want to leave. We'll sit here until 6 o'clock and we'll hammer it until I'm happy. But I don't want to leave here with oh, we got tomorrow. Like, no. Tomorrow I want to train. We're solving this today. And I think he's got that mindset as well of like, we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah, and I think the fans are coming around, and I mean even me, like I'm coming around of more of an understanding of that.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that you look at it and you can hear, oh, the bike, and it can sound like excuses, and it can rub fans the wrong way. But I think the more I see Chase and the more you see him go through his career, and when you see that there isn't something with the bike, like he doesn't say it.
Yeah.
So it's like he kind of is just telling it how it is, and he's very blunt.
Yeah, he's very blunt.
He's saying the same thing to the team as he's saying to the cameras and to the, like, there's no bullshit facade. It isn't an excuse. Like that's literally how he feels in that moment. And I think, maybe fans are just starting to get that perspective with
Figure
him.
it out.
And I feel like he's been more appreciated this year. Like, he's been a very underappreciated dude, I think, in his career.
Yeah, and I think he's even like, he can win a race, and if he didn't like something, he's going to come back and say, I did not like this. Like, he's straight up. He doesn't. Yeah. We could have the best night on our, like, I could win. We could go to an East-West shootout. I could win. Tom could get second, or Tom could win. I can get second. He can win the main event. And if there was something he didn't like, we don't care how happy any of us are. One of us is going to, like, he'll point it out, or I'll point it out, or Tom will point it out. Like, there's things that's just how we are. We're not like, if we win and there's like, oh, I didn't really like it here, like, I'm going to say it. Like, I won in San Diego, and I'm pretty sure I came back and was like, I was struggling with it a little bit here. Like, there's things I could have done better, or there's things like, we're always trying to find a way to be better. And I think that's one thing about the crew we have in our corner, that there's nothing that I feel like we really leave unturned.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform, or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.